Right, here we go with Excel 6th grade lesson 65. We're going to be learning about mean, median, and mode, and using stem and leaf plots. This is a 5er lesson. It's a pretty long one. Shouldn't be too tough though. There is some tricky parts, so make sure you're watching the whole thing and paying attention. But I think if you watch it, you'll get it. So here we go. Calculating an average produces a number that can be used to describe a set of information. The 1 average number is intended to represent all of the data. So in other words, an average tells you what all the numbers are kind of like. That's what that term means. There are 3 methods for calculating an average. The method to be used depends on the data to be evaluated. In other words, between these 3 things, it depends on what the numbers are, which one you'd want to use. The 3 methods are mean, median, and mode. Okay, the mean, as you know from the song, if you have a Rockin' the Standards CD, you might want to listen to this song, get this idea just totally ingrained in your mind, and that'll make it easier for you to remember this stuff. But it says the mean is most useful when the data is all within a relatively narrow range. It is calculated by adding all the values in the set and dividing by the number in the set. So the mean is the average. What we do is add, the song says mean is the average, add them, then divide. We add up all the numbers that are in a set of numbers and then divide by how many numbers we have. Okay, what this is telling you about that the mean is the most useful average to find when the numbers are very close to each other. If you have a bunch of numbers that are really stretched out, really spread out, or really low numbers, really high numbers, the mean is not the best representation of that set of numbers. The median is most useful when some of the points of data deviate a lot from the bulk of information. In other words, let's say you have a bunch of numbers and one of the numbers is way far away from all the other numbers, 1 or 2 of the numbers. Then median is a real good way to represent the average type number in that set of numbers. It is calculated by putting the values in order from least to greatest and then selecting the one value in the middle of the set. So median is the middle, won't have any trouble. Line them up, big to little, pick the number in the middle. That's what we sing in the song. And of course you can line them up little to big to little, doesn't make any difference. It's just that they're in order and you pick the number that's in the middle. The mode is most useful when some values occur more than once in a set of data. In other words, if you have some numbers and the same number keeps showing up over and over again, you probably want to find the mode in that situation. It is calculated by selecting the value that occurs most often in the set. If no numbers repeat, there is no mode. So you can actually have a set of data, set of numbers that has no mode. That means that there is no number that repeats, or it's a tie. If it's a tie between 2 different numbers, then there is no mode. Okay, we're going to go to the next part here. It says the following are the 10 test results for each of a set of 3 students. If all the scores are added for each student, the total is 870. Therefore, all 3 have the same mean. They all have the same average. So when you take Chandra's scores and add them all together, you add all these, the total is going to be 870. Same thing for these and these. So Marta, Aaron, and Chandra all got 870 total points on their math tests, the 10 tests that they took. To find a mean, you add all the numbers and you divide by how many numbers there are. And in all these 3 kids, they've taken 10 tests. So the mean is found by doing 870 divided by 10. 870 divided by 10 is 87. So they all have an average or a mean of 87. And then the next part says, what is the median for each student? Okay, and if there is no one value, if there is no single number that's in the middle, you select the 2 in the middle and add them together and divide by 2 to get the median. In other words, you find the average of the middle 2 numbers, or you find the number that's in the middle of the middle 2 numbers. Let's take a look and see how that's done. To find the median, we line them up, big to little, pick the number in the middle. I'm going to get rid of all these marks here first. So the numbers for Chandra are already lined up from little to big, or big to little. And to find the median, the easiest way to do that is to cross off one number on each end and keep doing that until you get to the middle number. So we get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those, and there is no middle number. There is actually two different middle numbers, and both of those numbers are 86. So the median for Chandra down here would be 86. Now let's say, I'm not going to tell you this exactly how to do it on the ones you will have to do this on, but let's say that the numbers came out here as 84. Let's say that was an 84 when you got down to the middle. 84 and 86. Well, the median then would be 85, because 85 is right in between 84 and 86. Let's say that the middle two numbers are 85 and 86 when you get down to the middle. Well, that means that the median is going to be right between 85 and 86, or 85.5, or 85 and a half. All right, so that's just different types of scenarios, different cases that could happen when you're trying to find the median. Go ahead and try to find the median for Marta and Aaron. Pause the video, turn it on when you're ready to see the solution. The median for Marta, you should have done like this. Cross out one of each on each end, and here you end up with two middle numbers again, both being 92, so the median is 92. Here you cross out one from each end, each end, and you end up with 86 and 100 as the two middle numbers. Well, how am I going to find the number that comes between 86 and 100? I can just find their average. I do 100 plus 86, which is obviously 186, divide that by 2, which is equal to 93. So the median for Aaron is 93. Remember, it's the number that comes right between 86 and 100. If you add 7 to 86, you get 93. You subtract 7 from 100, you get 93. So you can see that number comes right in between 86 and 100. The mean, add all the values in the set and divide by the number of items in the set. Mean is the average, add them then divide. Median, put all the values in order from least to greatest, or greatest to least, and select the value in the middle. Line them up big to little, pick the number in the middle. The mode is most often, and it's easiest to find. Select the value that occurs most often in the set. Which number do you see showing up over and over again the most often? The winning number. All right. Next part, is there a mode for the scores of each student? If so, what is it? So what you're going to do in this blank right here, the first blank, is either write the word yes, or you're going to write the word no. Is there a mode? Is there a number that shows up most often? Let's try the first one together. Chandra, we have an 83, an 84, an 85, and 85. There's two 85s. 86, 86, there's two 86s. 88, 89, 92. So it is a tie. 85, 86, and 92 all have two numbers represented. So there is no mode, so I don't need to put anything for the answer for the mode because there is no mode. Go ahead and try to do Marta and Aaron. Pause the video, turn it on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, Marta has 88, 88, 92, 92, 94, 94, and 99, 99. Again, it's all ties, so there is no mode. Aaron? Well, Aaron's got 5 scores of 100. So yes, there is a mode that shows up most often, and that would be 100. Okay, now they ask you a very difficult question. Which method of averaging would you use to best describe the data for each student? What you're going to do is look back to this right here. This tells you when you want to use mean, it tells you when you want to use median, and it tells you when you want to use mode. This is one of the trickiest questions you're going to be asked all year. So I want you to make your best guess. Pause the video, make your best guess. Turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution, but let me give you a hint that each one of these is going to be different. One of them is going to say median, one of them is going to say mode, and one of them is going to say mean. And it should be pretty obvious which person is the best for mode, so then you have to decide which one is the best for mean and median. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now, turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. All right, the mode, only one person even has a mode. So Aaron would best be described using his mode. Why? Because he's been doing really well on his tests. He's got 100 on half of his tests. He had one really bad day. if I was to find the average, 887 is the mean. 87 doesn't really tell how he's doing because he's doing such a great job on most tests. So 87 is not very accurate. Median for him, we found out, was 93. Again, that's kind of low to describe how he's doing. So mode is best for him. Now, what about the median? The median is the middle number. And if you look back at the description right here, median is most useful when some of the points of data deviate a lot from the bulk of information. When you have some of the data that's a lot different than the other numbers, that's a good time to use the median. Well, let's look at who has some numbers that are really, really different from the other numbers in the set. 83 to 92. Well, those are only 9 apart. That's pretty close. There's no numbers that deviate or that are way far away from the other numbers. Look here, we've got a 37 and then 87 to 99. These are all pretty close together for Marta, and then we got this one number that's way off. So Marta is best for median. And then that means that Chandra is the best for the average. Her numbers are all pretty close together. And again, if we look back here, mean is most useful when the data is all within a relatively narrow range, when it's really close together. And that definitely describes Chandra's numbers. So Chandra, mean is the best way to describe her data. All right, let's go to the next part. Another way to arrange the information is by developing a stem and leaf plot. The type of graph can be used, this type of graph can be used when there is a wide range in the data. Suppose you need to collect data on the ages of people who bought a particular magazine. You might stand at the checkout counter at a grocery store, and every time someone bought that magazine, you could ask them their age. At the end of the day, you would have a list of ages of the people like this. So all these numbers here represent the age of the people that bought the magazine. You could then make a graph. The digit in the tens place of the age goes in the stem column. The digit in the ones place goes in the leaves column. The leaves should be arranged from least to greatest. So a stem and leaf plot is going to look like this. This is the tens place, and this is the ones place. This right here represents the number 12. This represents the number 18 because it's tens place with an 8, 18. This one represents the number 27, or the age of 27. This represents the age of 35, and so on. So you can see that if you took the time, you could see that every single one of these numbers up here are all down in here, organized in a way that makes it easier to find the median, to find the mode, and, well, in a way to find the mean, but mostly for the median and the mode. This graph shows that more people in their 20s bought the magazine than any other age group. What can we do if we wanted to determine this is an accurate representation of the buyers of this product and not a mistake or a coincidence? You can think about the answer to that question, and basically I want you to understand that this is a stem and leaf plot, how it works, and you'll notice here that the majority of the people buying the magazine are in their 20s, and people of the ages 40, 43, 44, and 48 bought the magazine. Only one person over 60 bought the magazine. And there's some conclusions you could draw from this data, like this magazine is probably not about retirement. It's probably something that's going to appeal to people that are a little bit younger. And so it asks you again this question down here, what could we do if we want to determine this is an accurate representation? Well, we'd have to repeat our experiment and get more data and learn from other surveys whether that is an accurate representation. And that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching.